Okay, so let's jump right in. We're going to talk about turning that brilliant idea you've been sitting on into an actual reality. Think of this as a hands-on workshop, a step-by-step guide for building a business the smart way, without risking everything you have.
I'm guessing you probably do. And there's that little voice in the back of your head, right? The one that says, what if I fail? What if I just waste a ton of time and money? Well, that feeling is totally normal, and honestly, it's the biggest reason most great ideas never go anywhere.
And let's be real, that fear isn't coming from nowhere. The stats show that something like 90% of startups that follow the traditional path fail. They make a big splash, and then crickets. So yeah, the risk is very real. But what if we've been looking at that risk completely wrong?
See, the real problem usually isn't that your idea is bad. The problem is the old playbook. You know, build something in a secret lab for a year, spend a fortune to launch it, and only then find out if anyone actually wants to buy it. There's a much, much better way to do this. This is the core philosophy that just changes the entire game. Instead of one big shot in the dark, think of it as a constant feedback loop. It's a cycle. You build a little something, you measure how people react, and then you learn from it. This simple loop, this is the engine that's going to guide you.
So first, you build. But hold on. We're not talking about building the entire, finished, perfect product with all the bells and whistles. No way. We're talking about building the absolute smallest, simplest thing you can possibly make just to start testing your big idea.
Next up, you measure. And this is not about guessing or asking your friends if they think your idea is cool. This is about getting cold, hard data from real people who are actually interacting with what you built. Are they clicking the button? Are they signing up? Are they pulling out their wallets?
And finally, maybe the most important part of the whole thing, you learn. You take all that real-world data and you make a decision. Did the numbers prove your idea was on the right track? Or do they show you need to change course? This is where the magic really happens.
All right, workshop time. Let's get practical. Step 1 is all about thinking. Before you build a single thing, you need to get really clear on the core assumptions your entire business idea is built on.
So, what in the world is a hypothesis? Don't let the sciencey word fool you. It's just a testable guess. So instead of saying, my product is awesome and people will love it, you frame it as a question, like, I believe this specific group of people will do this specific thing because they have this specific problem. See the difference? It's a question, not a fact.
And you know, you can boil almost any business idea down to these two fundamental questions. First is the value hypothesis. Basically, does anyone actually want this? Does it really solve a problem for them? And second, the growth hypothesis. How are people going to even find out this thing exists? Word of mouth, ads? Your homework for this step is simple. Write down your best guess for each of these. Seriously, just putting it on paper is a massive first step.
Okay, once you've got your hypotheses written down, it's time for step 2, building what we call a minimum viable product, or an MVP.
Now this is so important. An MVP is not just a cheap or buggy version of your final product. It is the fastest way to start that build, measure, learn loop. Its only purpose is to get you an answer to your biggest question. So you got to ask yourself, what is the absolute bare minimum I can create to test my main assumption? And this just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? The old way is spending a year and a small fortune building the dream in your head. The smart way is spending maybe just 2 weeks building one tiny piece of that dream to see if anyone else cares. You're trading perfection for speed.
And I mean, this is the classic example, right? Facebook's first version wasn't for billions of people. It was just for Harvard students. The hypothesis was super simple. Will college students put their real name and info online to connect with each other? They tested that one idea in one small place before they ever dreamed of going global.
So, you've built your tiny MVP. Now it's time for step 3. You got to get it in front of actual people and measure what really happens. We are officially leaving the land of opinions and entering the world of facts.
So let's imagine your idea is an online shoe store. Your MVP could literally just be a single web page with some pictures of shoes. You run a $10 ad campaign. You hoped for 200 clicks, but the real data shows only 15 people clicked. Now that's not a failure. That's amazing. That is priceless learning that just saved you from wasting your life savings. All right, here we are, the moment of truth. You've got the data back from your experiment. Step 4 is about using that data to make one of the most critical decisions you'll face.
So you looking at those 15 clicks. What do? Do you persevere, which means you still believe the big idea is right, you just messed up the execution, like maybe the ad was bad? Or Do you pivot, which means the data is telling you your fundamental guess was just wrong?
And listen, a pivot is not failure. It's not giving up. It's one of the smartest, most strategic things a new business can do. It's a deliberate change in direction based on what you learned. Maybe your online shoe store idea was a dud, but the data showed people were really interested in the weird shoelaces you featured. That's a pivot.
So after you've gone through this loop, maybe a few times, maybe a lot of times, you hopefully validate your idea. People actually want what you're making. And only then, once you've proven that, do you shift your focus to steps 5 and 6, finding a reliable way to grow. And it turns out there are really 3 main ways to do this. First is the sticky engine, where your product is so good that customers stick around forever, like a subscription. Second is the viral engine, where your users do the marketing for you. Every new user brings in more users, like social media. And third is the paid engine, where you can reliably spend money on ads and make even more money back. The trick is, you don't need all 3, but you have to find and master at least one to really scale.
So look, if you take only one single thing away from this whole workshop, please let it be this. Stop aiming for a perfect launch. That's a myth. Your real goal is to get that build, measure, learn loop spinning as fast and efficiently as possible. That is the whole secret right there.
So I want to leave you with a challenge, a direct question. Forget about the 10-year plan for a minute. What is the absolute smallest, fastest experiment you can run for your idea? Maybe it's just a simple web page. Maybe it's a survey. What can you do to start your own build, measure, learn loop today? Because that's how this journey really begins. Not with a giant leap, but with one small testable step.